Okay, so this video is about human behavior, about human psychology. And I wanted to give you an example. I think during one of the speech that Michelle Obama was making, I think somewhere, she mentioned that, uh, and she mentioned something that's quite interesting. I found it the more I live, the more that, you know, that statement is relevant. So she basically said, when people tell you who they are, believe them. Okay. I think she said somewhere a long time ago. And that statement kind of stuck with me, right? Uh, I'm going to give you couple of examples. So we had just come out of COVID, right? And it was a quiet, disastrous. I got a COVID, and at some point, I think I became completely depressed. I can tell you that because I was living by myself, and uh, even though I had a roommate, but the roommate is always working, right? So I go to work and I come back and I'm staying inside this small, apartment. I think I became depressed at some point. And then when they finally said we can go out and interact, I was very quiet, you know, happy meeting people and getting to know them because, and I was listening to one of the Joe Rogan podcasts, and he really made the case that you have to go and socialize is really important, all of that. So I was coming from that perspective, right? I wanted to know, very eager, right? It's very openly, happy to see people, and I wanted to make that connection, but I was wrong. I did not anticipate the human psychology, the human behavior, the human nature. Okay, and I would go to a nice bar, a restaurant, very nice. It has Afro beats, or in the very enjoyable music. And I met a guy, right? And I was saying we were talking, and we exchanged numbers. I was very quiet. Uh, I was always been like outgoing, right? I want Now it's always being outgoing, but you know, after the COVID, uh, based on what I just explained, I wanted to go out and be outgoing, meet people, and do stuff. So I was coming from that perspective, right? From that mindset. And okay, so the first example is I met the guy. We met. We become some sort of friends, and uh, and we even he invited me to he invited me to one of the parties that he was invited, and I am not a huge drinker. I don't drink a lot. I mean, basically, I do not drink. So let's put it that way. Okay. And so, and I wanted to do more stuff. So one time, something, so yeah, one time I was sitting at the bar in the restaurant. The restaurant have the bar, you can sit, and I was with somebody, and he comes along, and I said, get a drink, and he got a drink, like he got a drink, okay, and I'm gonna pay for it. So I said, get a drink, and he got something expensive. So he got a drink, one drink, I believe, $25, just a small drink. And he got two, and that was $50. I was, wow, what is that? $50? So I was looking at what kind of drink is that? I was surprised, and I was seeing $50 for just two drinks. That was mind-boggling. I don't mind. I don't mind paying. I don't even really care about that. And I'm just giving you some, some hints how people they behave themselves. And the one day he does a lot of workout. He is kind of a, I think he probably watches. I guess I don't know. I even sent him the channel link at some point. I'm not sure if he's watching on that. Or I don't know. It doesn't matter. But if you're watching, I think I'm talking about you. He's very he's a little bit short, but he seems like he wants to prove something, right? And that was very strange. Which something that I find it in my ears, like a lot of short people, they have like a chip on their shoulder. Some of the encounters that I made, they want to prove something, which is I find very very interesting, right? And I think that goes from ego. But I mean, their ego is to prove to other people their worth or something. So he's built like he does a lot of, you know, he's like heavy, like built muscles. Okay, and he works out a lot. And the one day, I said, you know what? I called him and I said, you know what? He's working out. I said, let's work out together. I'm also trying to work out, and even though I'm not very professional at it, I was just amateur. And I went there, uh, and we met. So we were working out together. So he had kind of the lead. He had taken the lead because he knows how to. He knows he's better than me. Obviously, he had a built body, nice body. He made a comment that quite shocked me. Wow, you know. So I think that was a comment that I said. I drew a line. So we were talking, and he said, "I used to, train people, and I made a lot of money." Okay, so you have to think about that because you know I'm not I'm not trying to, maybe he thought that I I wanted him to be a trainer for me, right? Okay, that's what maybe he thought, but that was not my intention. My intention is he's a friend, we can work out. And just out of nowhere, I used to train people, and I made a lot of money out of it. And you have to complete the sentence because this is a sentence that needs completion. So the completion is, now I don't want to do that anymore. Okay, and this is a very strange phrase to say when you are getting to know a person, when somebody is a friend. Okay, that was really shocked me. I didn't know that I was trying to somehow win him over, right? Somehow I'm trying to, I was under the impression that this is something that natural friendship, okay, without any ill intent, right? And then he showed me who really is. And you know what? I cut the relationship. I completely cut it. I mean, if you're watching, I'm just gonna let you know I cut the relationship because you have some issues that needs to be figured out. Okay, you are basically, you know, I thought it was something natural friendship, but you are trying to make it as if I'm trying to win your friendship or something, right? I think you have some issues in terms of trying to show people to prove something, and that's unfortunate. And it was a very unfortunate situation. I was right coming out of the COVID, and I was very outgoing. Wanting, I'm always like that. Okay, so I'm not I'm not the type of person who I'm very kind with everyone without your social status, right? That's what I tend to do. in most cases, right? And unfortunately, he blew it. Okay, and people have their own issues. And another guy, he was this guy is from Sierra Leone, okay, African. The other guy is from Cameroon, okay. I'm from Chad. Cameroon is actually a neighbor to, uh, you know, uh, neighbor to Chad. And the guy was very. I think he's been drinking a lot. I think he drinks a lot. And I because I'm not really into that kind of culture, drinking culture, so I don't know when people are under the influence of alcohol, right? Uh, so he was very kind. So, we had a good relation, good conversation, you know. And at some point, I volunteered to drive him home because he was not, he was drinking a lot, and I decided to take him home. And he happened to live not far from where I live, right? And I was really positive about it. I was, oh, I'm making friends, and that's really good. And it happens that every time we meet, he's completely drunk. It turns out he's somebody very shy when he doesn't drink, right? Who has very difficulties, I guess, I suppose. That's what he said to me in one conversation, that he was not introvert, I suppose. So when every time I meet him, he's drunk. I didn't get it, right? And he also offered me to, hey, come here, man. He's at the time he was older than me, so I mean, yeah, he was older than me, and he asked me if he can, I can come home. We can be buddies, right? Buddies, best friends, and I was really into that. I was really looking forward to make friends and all of that. So, and he also offered me to uh, to come home. He can give me his keys, right? Right, even though I did not ask. And when I went to his place, he was drunk, right? And he also make a video call uh, to his mom, which I found a bit strange, right? So he introduced me to his mom. We were talking, his mom's lives somewhere in a different state. I don't judge people, right? My impression was just to be friends and go out, right? And I'm also into entrepreneurship. He's also working on some sort of startup. I'm also working on a new startup, right? And he seemed to have a lot of connections, right? And I talk about the company also, right? And he said, you know what? We will try to get a investment, because he was able to get his investment for his company. Uh, he was got investment, and even though the product itself, I'm not going into details, but uh, you know, it's a bit questionable whether there's a real product there, right? I mean, if you're watching, call me, call me. You can tell if you want, right? You have my number, so I would call him, and at the time I had a business. I told him to come and check the business out. Have a store, computer services, and he never showed up. Then after that, he stopped answering to my text messages, right? My phone numbers. I said, wow, that's interesting. And then out of the blue, right, he completely cut me off. And you know, we are in the same neighborhood, so I would go past. I would see, if I'm going to Manhattan, you can actually pass by. So I was completely surprised by his response. He completely cut off. I thought we were much, because I thought we were on in terms of perspective on life. we were looking things at from the same level, right? And we kind of connected from that perspective. Okay, he's also starting a startup. I'm also starting a startup. Okay, and we connected on different levels, right? We really had really deep conversation about a lot of stuff, right? So this is so he basically showed me who really is, right? And somebody who's had some issues that needs to be sorted out. He had a drinking issues, right? He had a divorce from his wife, right? Okay. And the one day he told me, we were in his, we were up maybe in the small apartments, like maybe on 11 or 12, I don't know, maybe even further than that. Then he told me, you know what? From this window, I can actually see my kid going to school. That's a bit strange, right? Okay. If you, in the, now that you look at it, that's kind of weird that you cannot even see your kid and you would just see him through the, he's like on the 12, I mean, on the 20th or 25th floor, right? All the way up. And he made that comment. So after thinking about it, I realized that the guy has some issues, some huge drinking problem, which may have caused the divorce, right? And he also travels a lot to Colombia. You know what I mean? Uh, I mean, if you travel a lot to Colombia because of women, I think that's an issue, to be honest. If you're a man and you have money and you still have issues meeting women, I guess you know I'm not going to be judgmental, but it really says something about the type of person you are, right? So at the end, I realized that people have their personal issues, and I just felt a bit compassionate towards that, and I was very you know surprised that the relationship ended, because it could be really a great friendship. That's what I thought, at least from my perspective. So, going back to the theme of when people tell you who they are, believe them, right? So these are people that when you meet in life, they they cannot help, they cannot help but just to show you who they are. It's unfortunate. I mean, if you are the type of person, you have to be careful. If you meet somebody, don't just show them who you are right away. Get to know the person. Put your ego aside. Okay, everybody have their own story, their own experience. You see, so I'm not, I'm not very discriminatory when it comes to making a relationship. Okay, because I understand that people are not perfect the same way I am not perfect, right? Why I would expect perfection from others when I'm not perfect myself? You see, so I became very understandable of people's struggles, people relationships, people experiences, and I tend to overlook uh, some of the mistakes that they do, some of the personality traits that they do, right? But if their personality traits is a nuisance to this friendship that we are trying to build, I think there is no, and they're also very, I guess, problematic. You probably need to just cut it off and move on because the person is really showing who they are. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. Now, I really find it unfortunate that situation ended that way, right? Because I felt there was something bigger that we could have built together. Okay. And the other example that I'm just going to give you is I have recently moved from from New Jersey. Right now, I'm in Dallas, Texas. Okay, that's where I moved, and and yet people keep telling you who they are, unfortunately. And I decided to go to a nice bar, nightlife, night, like a night, yeah, the restaurant plus bars. They have music. I kind of like that kind of atmosphere. And I went there. I was sitting, and a guy came in. It happened to be a white guy, right? And we were talking. I'm okay making friends, right? And yeah, yeah, we were talking about, but out of nowhere, he said, "Oh, we people can get along, right? You guys are in the we guys because even though we have different religions." I said, "What do you mean? What's this religion thing? Why you bring this one up?" Okay, he made an assumption right away that I am Muslim, right? So he made it. Somebody mentioned something that unrelated to what you guys are talking. You have to look at those perspective because it is not. It's very abnormal, right? When somebody brings some a topic that's completely unrelated to what you guys are talking about, it tells a lot about the person. Oh, okay. So all right. Then he keeps, you know. So I told him about it. Just came here, and I'm trying to get to know people. I'm visiting, all of that. And he told me he was staying with another friend. He has a room to rent. If you want a room, we can rent. I have a room to rent. Okay, okay. I'm kind of all right. I'm still thinking, and he uh, he tells me to do some jobs that I did not even ask for. Right? Imagine people are telling you to do things that you never asked for. People, they cannot help themselves. Right? Some people, especially, they are trying to tell you things that you yourself, one, you don't want to do it. Okay, and second, then it's not their none of their business. I'm trying here to work on my company, right? My startup, and somebody, a random guy that I just met at at the bar, telling me to do something completely different than opposite to what my goal is. Though I find it really interesting. It's very strange to somebody imagine you are going to school, or let's say you're working as a computer engineer somewhere, right? And you met a guy and he tells you, you know what, why don't you go I mean, you know what, there's a crypto scam that you need to do, right? You gotta sign up for that. It's really good. You gotta sign up and do that instead of doing the computer. You see the dichotomy, the differences. Okay, so it's very strange. Okay, and then that's this is so I'm just building up the story so that you get the last part. So we've exchanged numbers, and he told me, oh, bring your family to the restaurant, and at that restaurant he happens to be working there, right? Okay, and it turns out he was when I was the next day I was passing by just out of curiosity, and I saw him. He was cleaning the floor. So okay, and I asked him about his family, and the family is not together anymore. Uh, you know, so and so the other thing is, okay, yes, I was looking for a place, right, to rent in terms of renting. So I even I was curious to know what he is offering. So I decided he wasn't driving. I gave him a drive. Let's say, okay, let's go. Let's check it out. When we went to the place, it's actually a house, and a big house in the like very small place, and he's trying to charge me. I don't know what I don't. I mean, I'm not even interested. So there is a room inside a bigger house. So there are other tenants. First of all, I'm not interested in that at all. I want to have my own place, my own kitchen, my own stuff, right? I'm just out of curiosity. I'm just giving, I might as well just drop you off, okay? And he told me there's another guy upstairs. He's 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 paying, I don't know, this amount, but he's kind of. So the next thing that he said really really sealed the deal for me, because this is something that you cannot allow yourself saying that kind of stuff, because it reveals what kind of character you have as a person. So he said to me, "Oh, the other guy is there, but you know what? If you want, you know what? We can let him go, right? We can let him go, and you can take the place, right? Okay. So he's paying, but he's not. So we can let him go. You can take the place if you want his place. First of all, I did not ask for it. Okay, I did not even volunteer. I was just checking the place if this is something that I would be even remotely interested in. And that statement sealed the deal. I said, "Wow, this guy just we just met a couple of minutes ago, couple maybe an hour, less than an hour ago, and right now he's already throwing under the bus a person that was renting up there." Okay, what kind of person are you? Why you show yourself like that? You know. So he told me who you are, who he is. Who as a person. This is a. It's not a mistake. This is not just a mistake. This is a. The person doesn't have strong character, right? How can you meet somebody and he doesn't even know me, right? He's telling me this kind of stuff. Imagine in the you imagine telling somebody you just met, and you go to your place. You probably know the other guy who has been living there, and you tell the new guy, you know what? If you like it, I'm just gonna let him go, and then you can take the place. What kind of message does it send? What kind of person are you? It's very, I don't know. It's very disgusting at some point, right? It reveals the really who you really are as a person. You know what? I said, all right, I guess I'm done with this guy. He already showed me who you are. The next day, he sent me a message. He wants me to bring my family to the restaurant. You see that? So, because, he bringing customers to the restaurants. Oh boy. I say, you know what? Forget about it. Uh, so the moral of the story is it's very unfortunate that people tell you who they are, you know, in a very in a matter of seconds. That's what really that's what really impressed me the most. It's not they tell you who they are in a positive way, but in a negative way. And if you are not that type of person, right? If you are trying to build good relationship based on honesty, right? Genuine connections, right? Being upright person, not screwing people over. You have some kind of morals, you know, uh, standard of conduct. Right? You cannot allow that kind of people to befriend those kind of people, because they are not aligned with what your expectation of life, right? So it turns out Michelle Obama is right in this context, because this seems to be applying, in normal human interactions. So when people tell you who they are, believe them. I think that statement really helped me see a lot of, see, especially the last relationship, the interaction that I have, really helped me to seal, to understand it better what she really meant by that. Okay, do you have any relatable stories that you can comment below? I would be really interested in to know what kind of relationship. I mean, what kind of relationship you encounter? Is it similar to mine or different? It could be. Yeah, you can comment below. I'm really eager to understand, to read it.